Welcome back to X Games, and this is the corner of Congress and 10th. Well, it looked like an intersection just a couple days ago. Now they brought in 670 yards of dirt, which is about 40 truckloads, and well, guess what? It's a playground for Freestyle Moto X. Step up to be exact. It's going to be a 13-foot tall takeoff. They're going to try to soar over the bar in a high jump type competition, and you can see it has really shaped up well. You gotta love a beautiful night as the Jets passed over just a few moments ago. Austin is absolutely lovely. The people are amazing. And I'll tell you what, the state capitol building is very cool. I don't know if you knew this, Jeremy McGrath, but this is the 6th tallest capitol building in the United States, from what I understand.
Nice fact, Cam.
Cameron Steele and Jeremy McGrath to bring you all the action here at Step Up. Nicole Briscoe will be along with us. Let's take a look at what they're gonna be going off. Now, of course, it's a Step Up competition. It's very simple. You go off the takeoff ramp, you clear the bar. If you ride away relatively cleanly, it's a full pull.
It is, Cam, and if you have 2 chances, but you don't want to risk going into that second chance at all. This is a great lip tonight. As you can see, the bar is at a little low level right now, but tonight it is going to be very high. I expect these guys to be getting some big air.
Absolutely, of course. When you're talking Step Up, there's been some heroes along the way, but this guy is undoubtedly the king. And I don't mean to throw your nickname around loosely, Jeremy, but Ronnie Renner, he has 6 total gold medals. He started competing in this, I believe, back in 2002. He has 20 X Games appearances, and he is bad when it comes to Step Up.
Now, Renner, you can see here, I mean, he takes a unique style to this Step Up, and he is very passionate about this. I would agree with you. He is the king of this event. And look for big things from him for sure.
To not confuse anything for those of you at home that don't know this, the king of Supercross sitting next to me, Jeremy McGrath, 7-time Supercross champion, 72 wins, so he knows a thing or two about riding a dirt bike, and you know a thing or two about the Step Up because in 2004, you won the gold medal here at X Games.
I was lucky enough to compete in this event, and yeah, actually won. Here's a list. Look at the list of guys here. I mean, what a stacked field.
Well, definitely you got to talk about the hitters. Renner, Matt Byton both have a huge amount of medals, but Libor Podmal and Bryce Hudson have also gold medaled in Step Up. And Bryce, in watching practice today, I think you'll agree with me, he looked very solid.
Yeah, everyone looked really good. Obviously, they were probably all holding back a bit, but he did send it on a few jumps, and I would expect him to be flying tonight with Renner for sure.
No nerves for the new guy, right? This is a brand new rider to the X Games from Botswana, Alistair Sayer. I got to watch him in the Step Up competition, the qualifier in Las Vegas, and he was able to get into the field as he gets first attempt at 26 feet, and he hits the bar, Jeremy.
Wow. All right, so he's under a little bit of pressure here. Obviously, he's a new guy. Just tagged the bar on the way down. Look at a little replay here.
He had the height. Explain all this.
Yeah, okay, so he took off the start. Looks like, I mean, you don't need a lot of speed for this first bar height. He went over in front of the bar, no problem, got plenty of height, but you guys at home, you have to have a little bit of forward momentum. And right there, it looked like he stalled out, didn't get far enough out, and tagged the bar on the way down.
Okay, so as we talked about, everybody gets 2 shots at every height. And he has a course with no ruts. It's very clean. But the other thing is, it may have changed just a little bit from when they groomed it from practice earlier today. And the bar is being stabilized. Again, we're at 26 feet. In case you're wondering, the bar height is measured from the base of the jump, not the top of the landing. And that's because, well, if you jump high enough and far enough, you might flat land it. So we've always measured it that way since the beginning. And now he sends it.
He wasn't taking any chances on that one. And rightfully so. You know, just when you kind of lay off a little bit, as you know, Cam, with some things, you just got to go hard and go full effort. And right there, he cleared the bar, no problem.
Getting a good look at Biancocini. We'll see him a little bit later. He's from Italy. This is the 930. You may recognize him from his gold medal run at Best Whip last year. This is Tom Parsons, an incredible dirt bike rider, but doesn't have the street cred when it comes to Step Up.
Well, maybe tonight's the night he's going to get the street cred from these guys.
Nice, clean. And he also qualified at the Las Vegas qualifier, so he is up and over. So we'll move forward to the next rider.
Good style there.
Definitely good style, and style's a part of it because you got to have control of the bike. Now at this height, Jeremy, you could straight air over it pretty easily, but when it starts to get higher and higher, it gets more critical to be able to lay the bike over or have different polish to it.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see later is you're going to see some guys hitting the jump right now straight air, but later on, the style like Parsons, we just saw from Parsons and Renner and Hudson, you're going to see him kind of laying the bike over, maybe trying to do a little tabletop or kind of a alley-oop style over the bar, and it creates a little space, gives him a little buffer from hitting the bar.
Massimo Bianconcini comes from Italy, of course. He's definitely in a good mood. Today he was a little concerned that the lip was a little too vertical, too steep, so he wanted to, used a shovel to hit back the line he wanted to hit, which happened to be the same line Renner was hitting, so there were a little tension between the two of them today. Whoa! So I'm pretty sure we're going to see some pretty solid heights off this lip, Jeremy. You like this lip.
Well, I like this lip a lot. I mean, we were down there today watching practice, and check out Massimo here. I mean, he's not taking any chances there. Way over the bar.
Wow. So the dirt, of course, there's been a ton of rain. It's been all over the news, and they had to do quite a bit of work with this dirt. Now, what you're seeing is the face of the jump is not rutting up, but the landing from going at the extreme heights is starting to get broken through a bit, which the dirt inside may be a little bit more moist because it didn't dry in the sun all day like the outer crust.
I agree. You're going to see some holes, and right there, the higher these guys go, the harder that landing is going to be. They're going to stick on the landing, and the more use it gets, the bigger the hole is going to get. So it's a bit tricky.
When you talk about talented dirt bike riders, this number 100 is definitely a rider. You want to talk about Josh Hansen with a clean run. Jeremy, what do you think?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you watch Josh, you would think he would be whipping it over that, but straight air this time.
Well, I think, as we said, you know, look, you can see where Josh landed. He lands on the right, but you see his rear wheel just sinking into the dirt, and he cleared the bar, no problem, but I think later these guys are going to be landing like rocks.
Matt Byton up and over. He had a horrendous injury just recently. Big gash to his face. He actually told us that he nearly died on the operating table, which was very scary to hear. And he took a trailer ramp deck to the head, which smashed his face down and ripped his chin open. The photos on social media are absolutely frightening.
Oh, man. And what happened there was a cable broke, so the thing fell on his head. Very unexpected, and we are glad he is here with us for sure.
Libor Podmal from the Czech Republic. Of course, he has won X Games gold from Munich. A couple years ago, we traveled around the world doing the X Games. It was quite an amazing year, and Libor had some great runs, and talented dirt bike rider. He's competing for the championship in Europe right now in freestyle. No problem up and over. Now, if we sound a little subdued at this level, but we know it's going places. In case anybody at home is wondering, the record is 47 feet. Do you think we could achieve that tonight, Jeremy, on this jump?
Well, you know, you never know. Anything's possible. I mean, like I said, what we were watching today, the ramp itself is shaping up really nice. In competition, you never know what's going to happen. I think these guys are going to go really high, and right now, obviously, it's like you say, subdued a little bit, but Hudson, very clean, taking a little bit of that whip style over the bar, as I was talking about earlier. These guys, I think, have a chance of going really, really high on this comp tonight.
He is our youngest competitor in the step up. Of course, there's going to be a ton of Moto X over the entire weekend here in Austin. Definitely looking forward to some big things. Enduro X tomorrow, and of course, best whip. Speaking of whips, this guy can throw the dirt bike around.
Yes, he can. Renner's amazing on that dirt bike, and he certainly gets sideways on this event. If he's happy and riding the right line and feeling good on the bike, we're going to see some big things.
Now, looks like they're going to pack just a bit this landing, try to beat this down so it's flat. Now, let's take a look at the record we talked about at 47 feet. Look at that. X Games 2012.
Incredible. Oh my gosh.
It was a banner night, and to let you know, at 46 feet was Byton that night. So that's how competitive they were on that. Now every jump varies just a little bit, and look how hard the impacts are. Imagine that impact with the soft landing. That
Yeah.
could come into play when you have to ride away to have a complete run.
Well, here's the thing. When you're sitting there like Ronnie is right now on the start, when it's that high, you think, man, how in the heck am I going to get over that bar? As we see right there with the lower level bar, it's not that much of a problem. But on that record run, you get up high, you try and get over the bar, and then from there you got to figure out how you're going to land. So that was very impressive when he won that gold.
All right, well, Ronnie Renner is up and over. Everybody is up and over. The round 2 will come soon, but right now we're going back to Toby Moody and the flat track because we want to see some racing and hand out some medals.
We certainly are going to see some racing in our 20-lap Harley-Davidson flat track racing final. The crowd are here to see a brand new sport here at X Games, and after 20 years of X Games all over the world, we are seeing some of the...
For whatever, and hey, Ronnie Renner has been clean through a couple rounds, and he looks spot on, Jeremy.
He looks really good. Renner's just showing that style. Probably not showing us everything he has so far, but I mean, look at that. Poetry in motion.
Right on. The one thing we have been watching here tonight is the landing. We've had a lot of rain in Texas, and of course the dirt has been, we've had to work with it a little bit. The takeoff ramp is amazing. As you've said, Jeremy, the landing looks like it's getting a little soft from the big impacts. There's a good look at Ronnie Renner. He's getting set. He will be coming up in a few minutes for his round 3 jump. But right now, let's get it down to Nicole, who has a little bit more on what's happening with the landing. Nicole?
Yeah, about that landing, they've been doing some packing work between runs here, and I just talked to Matt Byton before the beginning of this round. We're in the middle of round 3 right now, and I said, how is it? He said, it's getting really rough already. He said, the view from up top, not so awesome. So I asked him, how is it now compared to where he thought we would be at this point? He said he didn't think it would get this rough until at least after the next round. So after round 4, keep in mind, Byton up next. We're only in the middle of round 3.
Hey, Jeremy, I got to ask you, thank you, Nicole. And Jeremy, you said it earlier about the landing.
This landing, I'm telling you, it's like you said, we have had some rain. This big dirt pile is soaked in, and once they break through the crust, which is the outer part, it's going to get some holes. Obviously, you can see they've been packing on it, been working on it, doing a little patchwork for sure. But the higher they get on this bar, the rougher this landing is going to be. And when it is good, it's still not good. So let's see what happens here with Byton.
Byton gets after it at 30 feet. So Byton is up and over and clear. He will move on past 30 feet. And just before we came back, unfortunately for the number 100, Jeremy, Josh Hansen went out of the competition.
Yeah, Josh gave it a good effort, went up over the bar with the front wheel, but unfortunately clipped it with the rear wheel on the way down. And you can see right there, pretty rough landing, but yeah, bummer for Josh. He's out of the comp.
So we have whittled it down to 7, so to speak. We're at 30 feet here at the step up. Of course, we've talked about the record at 47 feet. Jeremy and I think both believe we'll get up into that 40-foot range. Some of the riders looking really clean and amazing. One of them that's been very solid already, Libor Podmal from the Czech Republic. He was the first ever rider, international rider, I should say, to win the gold medal at X Games, or to medal at X Games, I should say, step up. So he's quite a talent when it comes to riding a dirt bike. And Jeremy, watching them work on the bike today, they were changing the mapping on the bike on the start line. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, okay, so in these bikes, they have a little black box, which is the ignition, and it is programmable and you can change it. Now, Podmal was the only one we saw today with his mechanics.
Oh! Did he clip on the way up and down and it stayed up?
Wow, wow. So getting back to what I was saying is he was doing some programming on his bike to get it to work better, and obviously you can see right here it's paying off. Yeah,
clip on the way up and clip on the way down. I'm pretty sure that was a double hit. And look, the crew's waiting to catch it. There's on the way up.
Wow.
And he does hit it on the way down, I believe. Or was that just the bounce?
No. He hit it. It looks like he hit it on both. Now, you got to understand that when he hit it with the front wheel, it's still shaking. So he probably, if the bar was still and calm, he might not have hit it on the way down. But thank goodness the wheels are rolling, right? It kind of keeps it up on its holder. And
don't forget, tomorrow, X Games Austin continues on ESPN. The petition. For sure. And there's a great look at the Capitol building and the fans here in Austin. If you haven't traveled to Austin, I guarantee you will have a good time in a very nice city. And up and over, no problem. This is the youngster,
Bryce Hudson.
That's right, 24 years of age. He is the youngest competitor and a bit of an entrepreneur. With the Grip Clean is his own company that he started up. And he's
Pretty
going
awesome.
for it, doing something a little different. There's Josh Hansen coming in there talking a bit. I think that was Jeremy Stenberg there as well,
That's
if
right.
I'm not mistaken. Of course, icon and legend Stenberg we'll see later on in the week. We'll see him in Best Whip, and we'll see him in the off-road truck racing. So if you guys haven't seen that before, you're going to want to hang around because, of course, over the next few days here in Austin is going to get crazy.
Renner getting set up for his next run here. Obviously, he's just getting his line right. Doing a little sweep job there. And as we were talking about earlier, Ronnie is very, very particular about this event. I mean, he's got a style like nobody else and puts a lot of effort into it. So,
and this is, of course, much different than what you grew up racing. You can't go in front of the starting gate.
no.
Do anything. You can't have the footstools that some of the riders are using, the blocks. And of course, you started behind the starting gate. Look at right behind Ronnie Renner. I've got a Brian Deegan sighting there.
Yes, you do. There he is.
Yeah, another former competitor in the X Games, Ryan Hagge. I heard there's a lot of athletes actually hanging around out there. I know you were getting some text messages earlier from some big hitters.
Yeah, I know Ken Block's around there watching for sure.
That's what's cool about the X Games. Oh, for some reason, to me, it sounded like he had like a bit of a misfire there or something. Like, wow. But it was clean and smooth. 30 feet, Ronnie Renner, no problem. When we return, we'll move on to the next round. And of course, guess what? We're going to raise the bar because, hey, that makes it even more fun for everybody except for maybe the riders.
X Games Austin is brought to you by DuPont Kevlar, inspiring X Games athletes to dare bigger. Toyota, official vehicle of the X Games. Let's go places. Wells Fargo, together we'll go far. And Bud Light, stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Inspirations, Jeremy, but hey, you're a racer. If you're going to race, you're going to want to win, right? No matter what.
Hey, Rusty Wallace is a legend driver at that. So he's going to want to win every time he gets behind that wheel. So it should be interesting to see tomorrow.
All right, round number 4 at 32 feet. Alistair Sayer, we've talked about him a bit. He's a brand new rider to the X Games. Comes out of Botswana. He was actually born in Namibia. Not sure if I said that exactly correctly, but he definitely has the excitement. He's been working on getting over the heights and has been clean except for in the first run. Hey, international soccer hits ESPN as the U.S. men's national team travels to the Netherlands to take on the Orange. Will the Yanks pull off the upset? It's the Netherlands versus United States. Coverage begins tomorrow at 2:20 Eastern on ESPN, and watch ESPN. Nice shot of downtown Austin. I think we might go ride a little BMX later tonight.
Yeah, go tear up the town a little. Just wheelies.
I didn't say I can't ride wheelies anymore. On my dirt bike, no problem.
Yeah.
On the beaches of Baja, yeah, that's good for me. But riding wheelies on asphalt with pedals, I don't think so. But we'll see. Alistair Sayer has another shot to get over the bar, Jeremy. So every time you hit the bar, you get one more try. We've already seen it, unfortunately, for Josh Hansen. He hit the bar twice, and he was eliminated at 30 feet. Will this be it for Sayer, or do you think he gets over 32?
Well, I know that he's going to give it all he's got right here. He knows that it's do or die, and I can tell you the nerves that he has inside right now are I'm sure, nerve-wracking, to say the least, and he's got to go for it right now.
Negative. Sayer is eliminated. And there may be other riders eliminated at 32 feet, but we've seen some great jumping from the other competitors. We saw a lot of good hits from Sayer. Struggled a little bit, but I think overall for his first X Games competition,
definitely did a good job.
Yeah.
Check the replay here. Hits the lip, gets plenty of height, but as I was saying earlier, you gotta keep a little bit of forward momentum to get over that bar with the rear wheel, and just clips it on the way down there.
And a bummer for Sayer, but he'll hang around and watch the rest of the comp. He'll get his full-on X Games experience being here all week, and there's so many more great competitions. And just to be honest and truthful and follow the rules, Sayer is not eliminated yet, and he hasn't lost the competition yet. In theory, everybody could hit the bar twice at this height, and we would have a tie, and everybody'd go again. But
yeah, in theory.
I'm saying because I have the crystal ball, that he's out. Because these guys are going over this height.
We're gonna see
you
right
disagree?
now. Oh no, I agree. We got
you don't want to start wrestling with me now, do you?
No. All right. No. I agree. You know, it's a bummer you hit the bar twice, but this stacked field that we have going right now, starting with Parsons.
A newcomer to the step up as well. Last year, gold medalist in the best whip. And he hits the bar. Now I'm going to jinx everybody, right?
I don't think you are.
So Parsons struggles with the vertical climb. He doesn't get the vertical pop. He drives forward into the bar, as you can see, and he knew his goose was cooked already.
Yeah, to me, when he took off the lip, you could see his body there in the slow-mo. He kind of knew, you know, the jumps previous to this, we saw him a little more leaned and what we call whipped over the bar, and right there, just didn't look like his takeoff was very good.
Well, what it looked like to me, if I were to be so bold to analyze it, is it looked like he almost came off the face a little bit lower than the top of the lip. So he may have started traveling forward. You know, sometimes if you get that
little pop too early.
Pop too early, exactly.
Yep. Well, yeah, and it happens. I mean, the stars have to line up when you get the timing right. You know, you got to keep your front wheel high enough before you rotate over the bar, and you know, as you can see right there, he's going through it in his head, trying to figure out the process of getting it right. And some of you might think you have a lot of time because the bar is getting higher, but unfortunately, when you go up in the air and you don't have any momentum, getting the bike position right over that thing is key, and that becomes the hard part as it gets higher.
For the stats here, you have 25 feet of run in, 13-foot tall takeoff. And Jeremy, you've taken a few runs at this thing over time.
Yeah, well, the time that I won the event, we did 14 times at one height. And when you get that,
you and Byton, right?
Yeah, me and Byton. And when you get that amount of times to do one bar, you kind of get it figured out. Obviously, it took us a while, but it's difficult.
Oh, bad start. Bad start. Oh, and I thought he was going to make
look
it
at
work.
That landing, too. Oh, my gosh.
Well, we're starting to see him drop now. Unfortunately, Tom Parsons is out. Or, sorry.
Still not out.
Don't look at me like
Still
that, Jeremy. Don't look at me like that.
You got all these guys.
Oh, he spun quite a bit. And then when he got traction, I think it lifted the front end a bit.
Did a little wheelie into the takeoff maybe, and he was just he was doing all he can do to save that one there.
Squirrel dogging it.
Almost pulled it. That was a better jump, even though he made some mistakes. That was a better jump than the first one, but man, look at this landing. Oh.
So Parsons sits in the wings with Sayer. Neither eliminated just yet. Someone has to clear the bar before they're out. I believe Parsons and his brother there chatting up. It was great to be at practice today earlier, talking to everybody. There was a lot of energy, but also a lot of fun, and everybody just kind of not goofing around, but just smiles all around, and you can see a little bit of personality there from Bianconcini.
Yeah, you know what I liked about it is we were hanging around and we got the chance to talk to all the guys, and when they like the jump itself, the whole atmosphere changes, and the guys were having a good time, and I really enjoyed being down there, because sometimes those guys aren't too into talking because they're not happy, but today was a good day.
I'll tell you what I enjoyed in just a few minutes, but right now Bianconcini,
whoa,
and he is up and over on his first try at 32 feet, and you know what that means?
I know exactly what that means.
Go ahead and tell me.
That means that Parsons and Sayer are out.
Adios.
They're on the trailer.
So Bianconcini seals their fate, and he is now in position to move on. There are still 4 other riders: Byton, Renner, Hudson, Podmall. As you can see the names across the top of your screen. And the lines through them mean that they are now sitting and watching from the sidelines.
Well, I can tell you right now, he made that look pretty easy.
Let's talk about the bike for a minute with Byton.
All right.
We talked about the fuel-injected bike with the mapping. Byton's going old school.
So Byton last year rode his 2012 bike. This year, he busted out the old bike. 2008 model, non-fuel injection, back to carburetor. And says he's digging it.
We all know the carburetor has an incredible burst. It looked like he misstepped it right out of the gate.
And you can see his style. He's got a straight air, so he's going to have to get a better start than that.
One thing that we haven't really talked about here tonight, as we'll take another look at this, the start is just slightly at a pitch uphill. And I think that might be having an effect on some of these guys.
Well, I think today we saw, I mean, you can see how dry it is, and it gets hard pack. And if you give it a little too much throttle, a little too much clutch, look at that. Right there.
Broke traction a little bit?
Seemed like it broke traction, maybe lifted the front wheel off the ground a little bit. And once that happens, say the front wheel comes up maybe an inch or so, you almost have to pull the clutch in and kind of reset yourself so you lose some mile per hour. You can bet that Matt's going to be pushing hard for this next start, but he knows that, you know, he goofed that thing up. But and they, you know, these guys have a few minutes. They sit around between other riders going, and sometimes, you know, you lose the rhythm, and I think
get iced.
Yeah, you get a
like
little bit
a
iced. You get cold, and you know, if you're not on your toes, exactly what happened to Matt there can happen.
Only missed the top 3 one time since 2003. That's a pretty incredible stat, and that happened to be last year.
A lot of pressure right now. If he wants to fix that stat, he's got to go now.
Was it a bad decision to go on the carbureted bike?
Well, so far it's been fine. He missed that one, but let's see what happens here. Oh, hits it with the front wheel on the way up.
Now the question I have to start wondering, is it the run-in? Is it the face of the jump? What's going on? Because we're eliminating a lot of riders at 32 feet. Or having problems here at 32 feet.
You know, here's the deal. You have a 25-foot run-in, which, as we said earlier, is not a lot of time. Not a lot of time to get yourself set and ready for this lip. I mean, this thing's 13 feet high. There's a little start shot.
It didn't look like he broke traction, just maybe didn't get everything he wanted going into the face.
It's really strange, because, you know, Matt's definitely one of the best guys ever at this sport.
4-time gold medalist. As we said, he has only missed the top 3 one time, which was last year, since he started competing in this discipline in 2003. There's a good look at Massimo Bianconcini. He is the only rider that has cleared 32 feet, although we do have 3 heavy hitters coming up still.
Yeah, but you know what? He's sitting there on easy street right now, just going, all right, I like this position, you know, especially having someone hit the bar right after he did.
One thing I was noticing on Libor's bike, it brought a chill to me, but also warmed my heart. He's riding with some riders that have passed away, their names on his motorcycle.
I did see that too. Yeah.
Well, it looks like he misstarted a bit, but he makes it work.
Wow. Now, we saw Podmall earlier being really calm off the start line, and that time you could hear it. He was really calm, but, you know, eventually when the thing gets high enough, you're going to need to go hard off the line, and he got away with it there.
Now, we saw them working on the mapping, and his crew was saying that they felt like they couldn't let it burst too early. They had to let him get traction before it exploded. And, I mean, great job controlling the bike. He's going to move on, but when you start getting those nose-high jumps, that soft landing is definitely something that can come into play. So, Byton is out. Podmall and Bianconcini have gone on. Hudson and Renner still to go when we return to downtown Austin. Things are getting crazy in Texas with the step up. Another beautiful overhead shot here in Austin as the X Games continue. We are in the midst of the step-up final here at Moto X, and we see that there are still 4 riders in contention. Massimo Bianconcini from Italy and Libor Podmall from the Czech Republic have cleared. 2 American riders are still to go at the height of 32 feet. The youngest rider in the competition, Bryce Hudson, and the oldest rider, Ronnie Renner. They're 24 and 37 respectively.
Yes, they are. But you know what? Age doesn't matter right now.
Oh yeah, then why aren't you out there?
Well, I don't want to be out there.
So right now we are in a little bit of a hold mode. They're working on something down there, so let's get it down to Nicole.
Hey guys, so ESPN and Circuit of the Americas have joined together to assist Texas flood relief efforts by donating a portion of ticket sales to the Central Texas Red Cross. To make your own donation, you can visit redcross.org/springstorms, and Metallica joins the efforts. They're offering $5 downloads of their X Games concert Saturday night with proceeds to benefit the Central Texas Red Cross. Go to livemetallica.com for more details on that. And then, as part of the Walt Disney Company's support of the American Red Cross annual disaster giving program, a $25,000 donation has been made to the spring storms relief efforts in Texas. A lot of rain here in the last 10 days or so, but we've been very, very fortunate here. Beautiful weather so far during our X Games Austin 2015.
And of course, just torrential downpours, and you've seen it all over the news. And here comes Bryce Hudson. So a very cool thing, Metallica and everybody around the X Games working on some relief. Bryce Hudson is a factor in this game, Jeremy.
Yes, he is.
Backed up against the reverse starting gate. He's coming at it at an angle. He's kind of using Renner's style, but from the opposite side. Sails it.
It's funny that you say that, because Renner's line and Hudson's line they cross going into the face.
Taking another look. Now, what was interesting to me is he got the seat bounce. He didn't really whip the bike much at all.
Well,
So
I'm telling you right now, the bar's getting high enough where these guys, they're having a hard time getting back to their foot pegs, getting everything right before they take off. And you can see right there, he cleared the bar, but I think the style we saw out of him earlier was the style a little more like Renner's, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. You got to get over the bar, whatever works, right?
for sure. And I didn't mean to call you out about you being out there or being old.
Thanks, Cam. Really appreciate that.
No problem. I just love to see when you ride your dirt bike.
It's funny you say that, though, because today when we were out there watching, it made me want to ride for sure.
Well, I knew you were feeling that, so I was just throwing it out there.
And especially, like I said, when the lip was good, I was like, man, I want to take a few hits at that thing. So it was cool. But I'm such a fan. I love watching these guys and love talking about it. So it's perfect.
Renner, very serious. He's not messing around. No. Over the years, we've seen a little bit of goofing around at step up from other athletes or more of a lighthearted approach. Renner's not one of those.
Well, I think in the past, Renner, he's always been very good at it, but he probably was a little, had more fun with it. But now this event's a big event.
This is his job.
This is a big event, and he's very serious, and he don't want to mess around. He wants to get that gold medal, and wants a little fan noise getting revved up for this thing.
And the stories, of course, is bike incredibly lightweight, the new 2016 model, if I'm not mistaken. I also hear a lot of lightning stuff that he's been doing. And hello,
that's a first.
I didn't expect that. I did not expect that. Ronnie Renner, the favorite coming in, the man with all the gold medals, 6 of them.
So right now, take a look at the start. Looks like he just dipped the front end over. You can see right here, okay, so he's coming from the left. He wants to carve up from left, get over to the right, then back left. And what he did is he cranked the bike over. He cranked the bike over too early, which grabbed the bar on the way up. He's got to delay. He's got to stay flat, delay before he lays the bike flat like that. I'm sure that he's going to make the right corrections, but I can tell you, how are the nerves right now in him? He doesn't usually get to a second run. He doesn't need it.
Speaking of which, last year when he won the gold medal, he didn't hit the bar one time.
See, that's the way he would rather have this comp go for him tonight, flawless like that. But what are the other guys thinking?
Well,
right
I was just going to say Bianconcini, Hudson, and Podmall are all over. They're all like, oh,
yeah.
wait a minute. Actually, Podmall's not saying that. He's just like, he's very focused. It almost doesn't look like he's even really watching.
I'm sure he's hoping that it doesn't go right for Renner. But this right here will focus. What has he got? A little.
Well, he's going to warm up the tire. He's going for traction on the blue groove. So he's got.
Wow.
I haven't seen that before.
Whoa.
A little piece of concrete.
Renner always brings out a little something in this event. He always brings out a trick.
Does that warm the tire enough right there?
Oh, yeah. You saw the rubber melting. So what he's doing, he's warming up the tire. The ground is all swept. You know his mechanic swept it there. So he's hoping to get just better bite when he takes off and less wheel spin, which will create more height, hopefully.
Rusty Wallace and one of our commentating cohorts hanging out there. Tessul, we'll see if he makes it.
Oh, hello. He's just giving us a little heart attack there before we see him really go at it.
Now, where that comes into play, though, is if there were a tiebreaker need. If it got to the point where, because the judges, the official can rule a stop when there's two riders competing head-to-head if they can't get it settled. So it would go back to number of attempts missed. And I think you called it exactly right. He started throwing the bike over too early before, didn't hold it going straight up enough. This time he gets it done, and Renner is up and over. 4 riders will continue on beyond 32 feet when we return to Austin and the step-up competition. Can Renner win it once again?
X Games Austin is brought to you by Toyota.
America's Navy presents Stick the Landing. Well, the first time out at 32, Renner had a problem. He hit the bar. Jeremy says he tilted the bike too early. Shot 2, up and over easily, and Renner with a hard landing clears 32 feet, and he, along with 3 others, now move on to wage war for those podium positions. As we take a look at our X Games gold medalist since 2012, well, Renner has been really amazing, to say the very least. Hudson and Podmall also in the mix, Jeremy. We got solid hitters of the group right here.
Yeah, we have the heavy hitters out for sure.
Bianconcini, who we see here, is the only athlete still remaining that hasn't medaled before in the step-up competition.
And he's the only one tonight, I think, that's been flawless yet.
This is a good point. You are paying attention.
So, I'm saying the heavy hitters are here. They're all paying attention now, and let's see what he's got.
And the bar has only been raised 1 foot, and he's over. It almost looked like he didn't get a great run in, didn't it?
It did. It looked like he had to regroup about halfway into the takeoff.
And we've gone up to 33 feet, and he is making it work. It looks like he's going to seat bounce and whip it really hard, but he ends up more of a straight air.
Well, you can see there on the replay, the seat floats over. Look at the landing. It's so rough. But he kind of goes at the start a little slow, and then at the last second, he just powers into it and threw him right up over that bar. And you know, sometimes it's a little weird being the first guy out, but it's working well for him tonight because now all the pressure's on the other guys.
So just to call ourselves out just a little bit, you know, I said it was going to go to 40, and you said you thought 34 they'd start getting eliminated.
Yeah,
we were wrong.
Yeah, we were wrong. I thought 34 feet they'd start getting eliminated. However, it started a little bit earlier.
Libor Podmall, we talked about the tribute he's riding on his motorcycle for his friends that have fallen. And there's a good look. Of course, a couple of our good friends from the X Games, sadly, gone too early. Jim McNeil, Ego Sato, and one of his other friends there, Tyrone Gilks, I believe it was. So riding with thoughts of his friends, a great tribute. Can he get over this height at 33 feet, Jeremy?
Well, we've seen him make some good runs. I think he can do it. He's focused. Look at him. I mean, he's super focused.
Oh!
Wow.
gating disaster.
Oh my gosh.
So back to what I was saying. I said I thought it was going to get to around 40. You said they were going to start getting eliminated at 34. Well, they started getting eliminated a lot earlier than that.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to wonder, here's a factor we haven't talked about. It's only the 5th time ever that the step-up is outside. So that run-in sat in the sun getting beat in today, and it's become very blue groove. When it's inside, it doesn't have the sun, it doesn't have the wind, and it has a very consistent temperature, and wow, he's real front-end high.
Look at that landing there. You guys at home, now you have to, you see this really sketchy landing, but you see at home, he has to ride out of that, or it doesn't count. I mean, you can...
He can dab, he can, you know,
dab, yeah,
get a little
dab,
squirrely.
You have to stay on the bike. You can't fall off the back of it or anything like that.
And of course, there is a ton of action at X Games. And in case you were wondering, there are off-road trucks, there is rally. I mean, take a look at all the things we have going on. X Games Austin continues on Saturday at noon on ESPN with Toyota Skateboard Park, an epic event. Then at 2 Eastern on ABC, Rally Car Racing and the GoPro BMX Big Air Final. At 8 Eastern on ESPN, of course, Pastrana will be in the mix. And talking about Moto X gold medals, Pastrana holding the record down. 2 riders competing in Moto X events here. Renner and Stenberg looking for some more hardware to try to catch up with TP. And this guy looks like he's good for some hardware possibly. Oh, bad start.
Whoa.
Dude, let me ask you a question, Jeremy. Sometimes when you see them like really nose high, like over the years, like you've had to throw them away, right? Do you sometimes get that feeling like they might throw it away?
I'm making these noises. I'm looking at it as a rider's perspective, and sometimes I'm even looking at this going, wow, the front end's a little high. And little replay of Bryce. Now, you know, he works on this and works on this, goes out and practices, starts, and I mean, he's really trying to perfect this thing as well. And I mean, look at that. He's got room to burn right there.
And whether you believe it or not, Renner says he doesn't practice at it.
Well, I mean, maybe for the other 9 months of the year he doesn't, but I think he probably gives it a little refresher course before we get to X Games. I mean, how do you know? Renner's the one that comes out with all these tricks. He comes out with these little tests. You know, we saw him burn his tire and get his tire hot. I mean, he comes out with all these little tricks, and you don't bring those out to the competition for the first time. You got to go check those out somewhere. So he might be telling us a fish story on that one.
The focus on his face is incredible, and we'll see if they do the tire warm-up again. What do you think? They're going to bring it. It looks like it.
Certainly he's going to do that. I think one of the other things you got to factor in is, like, I wonder what pressure these guys are running, because with hard-packed conditions like that, you could be running a little lower pressure.
Well, one thing we talked about today is the softer compound tire that Podmall is running, the 32, versus this is, you just saw the 52.
Yeah, well, it's hard to say. I mean, the little things make a big difference when you're getting
pressure is a huge one.
Yeah, I mean, having your head right is the huge one.
That's the big one. All right, Renner, first attempt at 33 feet.
All right, so he's getting his rhythm. You know he wasn't going to make that same mistake twice, where he hits the bar on the first one.
All right, Renner is clear. 4 riders moving on. Here's another look at it, Jeremy.
See, he waits, then he gets the bike turned.
I can't believe he has the forward momentum there, the way he does that. That was awesome.
I mean, he takes a look down at the bar and goes, yep, I got this. And then,
how's the impact?
And then from there, when he knows he's going to clear, then his next thought is like, how am I going to land this thing with any bit of smoothness? Well, it's a rough landing, to say the least.
Moto X step up, of course, at the end of the weekend, we'll be seeing the freestyle riders come out, and we'll see the quarter pipe event, which will be mind-boggling to say the very least.
Yeah, we are going to see some craziness.
Some artwork style there. Not sure all the reasoning or meaning there, but Biancoccini, very personable, fun to talk to.
Great dude.
Great guy.
Yep.
And looking for his first ever medal.
Pretty serious about this.
You think he's got something for these guys that have had the gold medals?
Yeah, I think he does.
34 feet, the bar has gone up in the increment of 1 foot. So, Jeremy, we're just going to surpass the height that you won your gold medal at, 33.5 feet. Oh, maybe, maybe.
Maybe. I'm sure we are. Now every lip's different, obviously, but
that's his first contact of the entire event. That's the first time he's hit the bar. Well, you said you think so. I know because Nicole handed me a card that said that.
Look at here's a little research. Contact on the way up. So I mean, I think in his mind that's probably good news, because if he just hits it a little harder, he'll go higher. I think. See, he hits it just right there. I think if he goes a little harder on the takeoff, he's probably going to be able to clear. But you know.
So, go ahead, Jeremy, sorry.
I was going to say, we're looking at Podmall here, and he had a pretty rough landing off the back of the bike. He makes the clear, but he's kind of awkwardly positioned now. I mean, we have already talked about how hard that landing is, and if your body's not in the right position, it can, you know, tweak your back a bit, tweak your neck. And we've talked about it many times already tonight, but this is where this event gets scary. I mean, you're in the line, you're on the line, you're looking at the bar, you're like, man, there's no way I'm going to clear that. And then you got to deal with the landing once you do. So it's a pretty scary deal at this height.
Will he make it?
I'm going to say yes. Well,
so now that we have less riders, we'll be less certain about saying he's out, although you see Bryce Hudson with a little bit of high five and love in there with his friends.
Confidence.
With his entourage, so to speak.
To me, it didn't seem like he got off the line like he wanted to.
I don't think he had the pop. I just don't think he had the grunt. He didn't have the traction and couldn't get into it, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what, I mean, from the sound of it, I could just hear the bike take off, and it didn't sound like he got away from the line very good. It didn't look as stylish as his last one. You know, kind of his technique he's been using throughout the night have been cranking it over a little bit, and right there he just did a little more of a straight air. And
ooh, the back tire really dug into the landing too. So Biancosini strikes, and he is going to be on the sidelines, but he is not eliminated until somebody clears the height of 34 feet. And as we watch Libor Podmall pull into the gate, we're going to get an update and throw it down to Nicole.
Yeah, you know, they're doing a lot of work again on the landing right now, and during the middle of the third round, we talked about how Matt Biden said that it was looking rough. Well, Podmall just had the rough landing at the end of round 5. You saw him grab his back. Keep in mind, Podmall is coming into this a little bit banged up. He broke his ankle just in November of 2014, his left ankle. He says it still bugs him. So I asked him, how's his back? He said it's actually not his back. He hurt his neck. And he hits the bar on that one.
Now, thank you, Nicole. And did big contact. He got a lot of tire spin.
It almost seemed like when he took off, he spun and he wanted to stop.
He can stop.
He can, but you know, it's very difficult to tell yourself, hey, I got to stop. That was a bad start. And you can see his style right there. And
I thought he was going to slap really hard on this landing.
That was even more awkward than his last one.
Could 34 feet be the stumbling block for more riders? Right now, it's a problem for Libor Podmall from the Czech Republic. So they put a little air in the tire, I'm hearing right now. So go ahead with the start lockdown.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be very interesting if they did add air to the tire. I would think they would let a little bit out to get a little more traction.
That's a report I'm getting in my ear.
However, here's the deal. The interesting thing about this is Podmall's on the line, and he's the last guy really doing a straight air style. Hudson and Renner both are doing sort of that lean technique, whip technique over the bar. And when the bar is in a really, really high spot, like right now, technique becomes a factor. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can fix his style here a little bit just to get over this 34-foot height.
Bryce Hudson waiting in the wings. He will be next after Podmall. Whether he makes it or not, that we'll find out here in a moment as he gets his second of 2 attempts at 34 feet. Needs to clean this one to move on to the next height and at the same time eliminate Bianconcini.
Yeah, he needs to go hard here. I mean, I know he's probably a little sore. He's probably just trying to clear it and worry about the landing a bit, but you know, he's just got to go.
And I'm pretty sure he took air out of the tire. Now we're getting the report. So no, it didn't sound like
the start procedure didn't look very solid there.
Still not eliminated is Podmall because Bianconcini hit as well. So it's going to take Hudson or Renner to clear the bar to eliminate them. And it just looked bad all the way around, didn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, the way the lip's shaping up, it just looks like that lean style is going to be working a little better. And straight air is not working for Podmall right there.
Renner
getting the game face on.
Podmall is out. We talked about Renner's bike. He's got some specialty stuff going on that bike for sure. And, you know, Hudson, I don't know that he has that kind of support, so to speak, a factory bike. And would you say that Renner's bike's a factory bike? I mean, he is a KTM rider, right?
Yeah, I would say that Renner has all the advantages of a factory rider.
Do you want to explain a little bit about that?
So, yeah, what that means is, you know, in racing, the team riders, the ones that get all the special parts and all that, I think Renner's on par with KTM with those guys. So he gets good parts. He gets maybe a really fast engine that can help in this thing. And
Hudson
might give him a bit of an advantage. Oh, man. I thought he had it.
I thought he was so nose high that I wasn't going to be able to hold on to it. This could be it. Now, if they all hit, they all go again. They all get another attempt at this height. So we'll see if that comes into play. Of course, yeah, broke the bar. Luckily, we have extras.
Right there, you can see.
He had the height, he just didn't get the forward traveling.
Looked like it caught with the rear fender. Do you see that?
Look how vertical he is. How does he not throw that away? Wow.
I think it would have stayed with the rear tire, but it caught with the fender and pulled it down.
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct.
Because we've seen guys hit it with a wheel. He barely
hits it with the tire first.
But it would have stayed, but the fender pulled it off. That's why it broke it.
Don't yell at me.
He needs to chop his fender off right now. Before
Freestyle style.
That's right. He needs to get a shorter rear fender, it looks like.
All right, so the drama continues. As we've had 3 riders attempt 34 feet. Bianconcini from Italy, Podmall from Czech Republic, both hit twice and are theoretically eliminated, but someone has to clear the height first. Hudson now has gone one time and hit it. He has one more shot at 34 feet. And don't forget, X Games Austin continues tomorrow at 8 Eastern on ESPN. The premier action sports event of the year rocks on with Moto X, Enduro X, and America's Navy skateboard Big Air. The Big Air ramp is something to behold. We were watching Chad Kagi and Jake Brown, a couple guys hitting that today, and the crowd is not thinning here. They want to see what's going to happen in Step Up, and I can't say that I blame them. And you know, to be honest, downtown Austin's not a bad place to hang out.
It's a really, really cool spot. And what they were saying earlier, there's probably 10 to 12,000 people down there. It's pretty cool, and for Step Up, that's awesome.
For sure. I believe the attendance last year overall at the X Games was 160,000 people. I don't have my notes right in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that's what I retained. So right now they're working on the course. Hudson's crew is sweeping his line, which is on the opposite side. Renner is working and focused on his line. So Levi Lavalle tweeting about the comp tonight. Levi, a star and just a great guy overall in his own right. And he is, Levi's backing up Renner here.
Yeah, well, they're teammates, I believe. So pushing for Renner, but right now we have to see what Bryce has. He's got to give it everything he's got right here.
He needs
Last
to get a
chance,
good tracking,
Yep.
confidence. Don't let it get to you. Second attempt, if he hits it, then it's all up to Renner. And if Renner can clear it on one of his 2 attempts, he will be the gold medalist, or would be the gold medalist. But right now, Hudson right now waiting. He wants to make sure the pole is not moving. I'm sure is what he's thinking.
Probably. But, you know, he's got to focus on getting a good start here and getting all the momentum he can to get over this thing.
Looks like a bit of a spin.
Oh.
So
as we're landing.
And he claims it.
All right, well, he's not hurt. That's good.
So the landing, I mean, he's stuck. He was a little bit sideways. And when that front end slapped down, looked like it blew his arm off the handlebar. Let's take another look. Oh, he was all over the place there. And look, just the contact blew both his hands.
Wow. That tells you right there how hard you come down.
Another look.
Oh, and what he's trying to do by landing with the rear wheel first is the rear suspension then collapses, then the front wheel collapses. Now, sometimes if you land with both wheels, your hands don't maybe come off like that, but you land like a rock. So he was trying to soften up the landing a bit, but
I think he broke traction again midway to the takeoff, is what it looked like to me.
well, it looked like to me he didn't get quite as high as the first attempt he had.
And he's stuck.
But he's okay, that's good.
He's claiming it for a score. Bryce Hudson, always in a good mood. Pleasure to talk to.
Heck yeah.
Well spoken. And now his fate, and well, I mean, all the riders' fate. If Renner makes it, he wins gold and eliminates all 3 of those guys in one shot. He has 2 tries. Do you think he needs 2 tries? He's already hit the bar.
Well, I don't think he wants to use both tries. I think he wants to just get this thing over with, seal the fate of these guys, and do it as quickly as he can.
Well, Ronnie Renner has 2 shots if he needs them at 34 feet. He's going to try to warm up the tire.
So, you know, we've been talking about all night, Hudson on the right, Renner on the left. Now, typically, why they choose one side versus the other is decided upon which way the rider is more comfortable whipping the bike.
Right.
And typically, like for Renner here, he's coming from the left side of the gate over to the right on the takeoff. And at least a lot of the guys we ride with, and it's pretty common where you whip to the left a little bit easier because you got the brake pedal with your right foot. We saw Hudson doing the opposite. He was coming from the right, whipping it, going to the left, and then turning the bike a little bit to the right, where Renner going to the left. So interesting styles.
This is it for gold. Negative. Contact on the way up.
Sounded like he spun on takeoff.
And let's take another look, Jeremy. What happened?
So you see a roost right there. Now, it seemed like you could hear the RPMs go up pretty high on the start. I think he expected the bike to stick a little bit more on the takeoff, and it spun. So you can tell right there he didn't get any height. He's got to be a little more calm on the start and try not to break traction. Comes underneath the bar right there. He knew that one right when he took off.
And a little grab on the back there. The landing is no fun. Never has been at Step Up. He's got one more shot, Jeremy. So his second of 2 attempts at 34 feet. If he makes it, he is the gold medalist.
Yep.
If he hits it, all 4 of these riders that have hit twice already at 34 feet, they all get to go again one more time to see who clears the height.
Wow. Now this is some drama.
And if more than one of them clears it, they keep moving on with the competition.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure, as we were saying, Renner does not want that to happen. He wants to end this thing now. Getting some heat in that thing.
All right, you hear it right there from the course official saying that the course is his, so it is up to Renner. If he makes this jump, as we said, it's a gold medal. If he misses, everybody gets another shot. Your crystal ball says, Jeremy?
My crystal ball says he's gonna make it.
I agree with you. I think this is the jump for gold, but that's why we compete.
That's right, you never know. Here we go.
Woohoo! Gold medal for Renner. He's got to ride it out, and he does. Seven gold medals in the step up for Renner. And after the dance, he realizes his back is sore. Another great effort for Ronnie Renner. Jeremy, I mean, he cleared it with ease. He had room to give.
Thank goodness for 2 chances, but whatever he did the first one, he totally fixed it up for the second one. Got a nice launch off the line, very smooth. Got that Ren Dog style. Look at that. No problem.
A work of art for Renner. He has been dominating the step up, and he proved it once again tonight here in Austin. He is taking home the gold medal.
Ooh, look at that landing.
And then, of course, the celebration.
Oh yeah, we know he's good at that part. Always having a good time for sure. But nice job there, Renner.
All right, let's look at how it shook out, because of course all the contact with the bar for the other riders is also going to be a decision maker when it comes to the medal board. So that's something we're waiting to find out.
Am I allowed to say that that last landing knocked me out a little bit? Because I still landed.
And so Renner with the gold medal is excited to say the very least, but sore and in a bit of pain.
Woo!
He reigns supreme once again.
Michelle, Nate, Josh, Chloe, Jet, love you.
Give it